If this message found you today, don't rush past it. There may be a reason you pressed play. Maybe you've been carrying a question that refuses to leave your mind. Maybe you've been waiting for an answer that never came. Or maybe you simply have this feeling that something beneath the surface hasn't revealed itself yet. Whatever brought you here, welcome. Before we begin, I want to remind you that this is a channeled message for reflection and entertainment. Take what resonates with you, leave behind what doesn't, and trust your own judgment and intuition. And if you enjoy this type of content, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who may need to hear it today, and subscribe. Your support helps this channel continue to grow. Now, take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Quiet the noise around you for just a few moments. Because today's message isn't about predicting the future. It's about understanding something many of us have experienced long before we could explain it. Have you ever had the feeling that something wasn't quite right, but you couldn't prove it? Nothing looked different. Nothing sounded different. And yet, something inside you kept whispering, "Pay attention." Days passed. Maybe weeks. Maybe months. Then one day, the truth finally revealed itself. And in that moment you thought, "I knew it." Not because you could see the future, but because somewhere deep inside, you noticed something your conscious mind hadn't fully understood yet. We often think intuition is mysterious. Sometimes it is. But sometimes, intuition is simply the quiet part of your mind putting together thousands of tiny details before your conscious thoughts catch up. A change in someone's voice. A look that lasted just a second too long. A conversation that suddenly felt different. A pattern repeating itself over and over. Your mind may overlook those moments, but your deeper awareness quietly stores them away. Then one day, everything clicks. The puzzle comes together, and what once felt like a strange feeling suddenly makes perfect sense. The problem is, most of us have been taught not to trust that quiet voice. We're told to ignore it, to explain it away, to keep moving, to stop overthinking. But there is a difference between fear and intuition. Fear is loud. Fear rushes. Fear demands immediate action. Fear imagines the worst before there is any evidence. Intuition is different. Intuition doesn't scream. It whispers. It waits patiently. It doesn't force. It gently asks you to slow down and pay attention. The challenge is learning the difference. Because sometimes fear wears the mask of intuition. And sometimes intuition is so quiet that fear drowns it out. That is why silence is so important. Have you ever noticed that your clearest thoughts rarely come while you're surrounded by noise? They arrive during a quiet drive. A walk alone. Early in the morning before the world wakes up. Or late at night when everything becomes still. Clarity has a way of finding us when we finally stop chasing it. Maybe that's why life doesn't always reveal its answers immediately. If every question were answered the moment we asked it, there would be no growth, no wisdom, no patience. Sometimes the waiting is part of the lesson. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because you're still gathering the pieces you need before the picture can make sense. Think back over your own life. How many moments confused you at first, only to make perfect sense years later? How many disappointments became blessings in disguise? How many closed doors protected you from walking into the wrong room? How many delays redirected you toward something far better than what you originally wanted? At the time, none of it made sense. Looking back, it all connected. The truth has an interesting way of working. It rarely arrives with fireworks. It doesn't always burst through the door demanding attention. More often, it quietly steps into your life when you're finally ready to recognize it. That's why forcing answers rarely works. The harder we chase certainty, the farther it seems to move away. But when we become patient, when we observe instead of react, when we allow life to unfold instead of trying to control every outcome, the answers begin finding us. Perhaps that's the message you were meant to hear today. Maybe you've been searching for certainty. Maybe you've been replaying the same situation over and over in your mind, trying to solve a puzzle before all the pieces are even on the table. If that's you, give yourself permission to stop forcing it. Trust doesn't mean believing everything will happen exactly the way you want. Trust means believing that clarity will arrive when it's time. Not a moment too soon. Not a moment too late. You may not leave today with every answer you're looking for, but maybe you don't need every answer today. Maybe all you need is enough truth to take the next step. The rest will reveal itself in time. One day you'll look back on this season of your life. You'll remember the questions. You'll remember the uncertainty. You'll remember wondering why nothing made sense. And then you'll smile, because you'll realize the clues were there from the very beginning. You weren't lost. You were learning. You weren't forgotten. You were growing. And the truth wasn't hiding from you. It was simply waiting until you were ready to recognize it. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If this message spoke to you, let me know in the comments what part resonated the most. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to hear more channeled reflections like this. Until next time, be patient with yourself. Listen to the quiet voice within. And remember, the truth doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes, it arrives as a whisper you finally learned how to hear.